Charles Darnay.
Yes?
You're under arrest. Sit down. His name is Charles Evrémonde, also known as Darnay. He has been reaccused and taken in custody again yesterday. The formal accusation was delivered to him last night. He is suspected and denounced as an enemy of the Republic. He is an aristocrat. He comes from a family of tyrants who have been banned for using their power to oppress the peasants. Charles Evrémonde, also known as Darnay, has been banned by the law and should be sentenced to death.
Has Charles Darnay been denounced openly or secretively?
Openly, by 3 people: Ernest Defarge, his wife Therese Defarge, and Dr. Alexandre Manette.
President, I protest that this is a forgery and a fraud. You know that Darnay is my daughter's husband. My daughter, and those she loves, are much more important to me than my own life. Who and where is a liar that says I denounce my daughter's husband?
Calm down, Citizen Manette. To speak out of turn against the authority of the tribunal is breaking the law. Regarding what is more important to you than your life, nothing can be as important to a good citizen as the Republic. If the Republic demand that you give up your own child, you would have sacrificed her. Listen to what will follow. In the meantime, be quiet.
I knew that this prisoner Manette had been held in a cell known as 105 North Tower. He told me so himself. He only knew himself by the name 105 North Tower, when he was in my care and still making shoes. While I was firing my cannon that day, I decided that when the fortress fell, I would examine that cell. The Bastille fell, and I went up to the cell with another citizen who is on the jury, directed by the jailer. I examined it very closely. There was a hole in the chimney where a stone had been pulled out and replaced. In it I found a paper with writing on it. This is that piece of paper. I have made it my business to examine other examples of Dr. Manette's writing. This is Dr. Manette's handwriting.
Let it be read.
It reads, I was walking about an hour away from my home when a carriage came up behind me very quickly. I had to step aside because it seemed as if the carriage was going to hit me. The men in the carriage were armed and wanted me to come help them with a patient. The carriage left the main road and soon stopped at a secluded house. We arrived at their place and heard cries from an upstairs room. Since about this time last night.
She has a husband, a father, and a brother?
She has a brother.
Are you her brother?
No. There is another patient. Come this way.
How did this happen?
He is a crazy young peasant. He forced my brother to draw a sword on him.
Doctor, these nobles, they steal from us, anger us, they beat us and kill us. Have you seen her? She is my sister.
Yes, I have seen her.
They have taken our rights as they have taken their rights as nobles, and they have their own way with our sister, peasant woman, for many years. The man standing there is the worst of this terrible family. His brother, our master, who we belong to. We are robbed by the man standing there. We were taxed mercilessly and forced to work for him without pay. We were forced to grind our corn in his mill and forced to feed our poor crops to his tame birds. We weren't allowed to keep any birds for ourselves. We were robbed and abused so much that when we didn't have the luck to have a bit of meat to eat, we ate it in fear, with the door barred and shutters closed so no one would see it and take it away from us. We were robbed, hunted, and made so poor that our father told us that it was a terrible thing to bring a child into the world. He told us that we should pray for a woman would be unable to give birth and that our family would die out. My sister was married to one of the sheriffs, but that man, the Marquis, was attracted to her as well. When my sister's husband wouldn't give her up to him, he did awful things to him. They harnessed her husband to a cart and drove him. They kept him out in the cold nights and ordered him back into what? Back into I don't even know where I was. The harness during the day. One noon, he was taken out of the harness to eat, if he could find anything to eat. He sobbed 12 times, once for every stroke of the bell. Then he died.
Later, the Marquis's wife approached me and was much more pleasant. She informed me that she was unhappy and that she was afraid for her young boy. Charles would be punished for this later in life. It was these men that brought me to the Bastille and left me there to die because of what I heard from the boy. Now I believe that the mark of the cross that the dying boy made with his blood is fatal to them, and they will not receive his mercy. I, Alexander Manette, a sad prisoner, denounce the Evremond brothers and all their descendants to their last family, to the time when these things will be answered for, and
The vote was unanimous. He is an aristocrat, and by family and in his heart. He was the enemy of the Republic and oppressor of the people. They voted to send him back to the Conjurie and executed within the next 24 hours.
It could not be otherwise. This was inevitable. It was always useless to ignore my poor mother's trust that first brought my deadly presence near you. Good could never come from such evil. A happier end could never come from such an unhappy beginning. Take comfort and forgive me. Heaven bless you.